All right. Welcome. Okay. Hello. Right. Shalom. Okay. First and foremost, let's give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Shem Mashiach Yahweh Shai, Yahweh be the name of Heavenly Father, Yahweh Shai be the name of His only begotten Son, the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Now, let's talk about it. This lesson is called The Most Dangerous Church in America. We're going to go over some things. We're going to talk about the most dangerous church in America, what they're doing right, what they're doing wrong, but we're going to stress what they're doing wrong. That makes it dangerous. What you're doing right doesn't make it dangerous. What you're doing wrong most certainly does. All right, so we're going to get into it. We're going to start with Habakkuk chapter 3 and verse 4. All right, you might be watching this and you're like, is it my church? Is it the church next to my church? Is it the church down the street from my church? Because of course there's a church on every block, particularly in bad neighborhoods. You know what I mean? You got churches and liquor stores. Get them drunk and then get them thinking that they're doing the right thing by just showing up on Sunday. Okay? And that's just kind of the witchcraft that's in America, unfortunately. But it is what it is, and we are going to talk about it today. All right, let's go to Habakkuk. Oh, before I start, let me say Fair Use Act. Fair Use Act. This video is protected by the Fair Use Act. Is a teaching moment, a lesson, thus being protected by the Fair Use Act. All right, let's bring it out. Habakkuk chapter 3 and verse 4. And his brightness was as the light. He had the horns coming out of his hand, and there was hiding and no Slakia, and there was the hiding of his power. Before him went the pestilence, and burning coals went before Slakia, and went forth at his feet. Okay, and let's get into it. Um, so Yahweh Shai is coming back, right? Who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. And last time he was here, he was doing miracles. He was um attempting to wake up the lost sheep of the house of Israel. He sent out his disciples. He was teaching. He was doing all types of amazing things. You know what I mean? Made a huge impact on the world. You know what I'm saying? So now, next time he's coming back, it's just a whole nother type of energy. Okay, because when he was here previously, people killed him. The Pharisees pretend like he didn't know what he was talking about. You know what I mean? People said he had a devil. They call him like a drunkard and, was hanging out with the publicans and just a whole bunch of stuff. They spit on him. We have no king but Caesar. So everybody wasn't embracing Yahushua, right? And he's coming back and he's going to have massive amount of vengeance on his enemies and really the people that don't listen to anything he says. And that might be your church. Your church might be filled with people that don't listen to God. They do things like Christmas and Easter, which is, can't find where Easter bunnies lay eggs in the Bible, you know. Doesn't say prop up a tree and put presents under it and bow down to the tree to open up your presents. It actually says in Jeremiah 10, from the top on down, not to do it. So if your church is doing that, your church is fairly dangerous, but we'll get into more of that as the lesson goes on. Stay tuned. So let's see what happened one day in North Philly.
Good evening, Jacqueline. They tell us that that fire is contained within inside the structure. I'm going to step over just to give you guys a look at what we're seeing. This is where a lot of that activity from the firefighters is happening right now. This is behind the church. As you can see that the top part, the roof of that church is just completely gone. They tell us that there are over 70 firefighters on the scene. Just after 7:30 Monday night, dozens of firefighters responded to a massive fire inside the United Missionary Baptist Church in Brewerytown. The chief says upon arrival, they found flames quickly spreading to the roof of the structure. They're trying to control it, but just with any fire, it's just a lot. Liz lives next door to the church. She says she and her neighbors were concerned about the possibilities of them needing to evacuate their homes. It's sad for sure. I'm just hoping nobody was in there because it seems like the fire's pretty vicious. But just hoping everyone's okay. Authorities say no one was inside the church at the time of the fire. Officials say the mixture of freezing water and power lines pose a hazard, so they were forced to cut the power, impacting at least a 3-block radius.
So we'll have a footprint out here for many, many hours. And the reason why is because even when it's completely under control and all visible fires knocked down, once the fire marshal gets in and start rooting around, we may have some hot spots that we have to hit.
And back out here live, you can see all of that water that the firefighters are just spraying over that structure. Now, we did see the pastor of that church outside, and she did post a message on their Facebook telling everyone here in the community to pray for their church as well. I just want to mention that there is no electricity in all of the homes that are around this structure. The firefighters tell us also that the cause of this fire is still under investigation. That's all that I have for you guys. Sending it back to you live in the studio, Jacqueline. Our other top.
Okay, so what the pastor she said, now I know this is 2025 and women can do what men can do and all that stuff is what man has said. What does the scripture say? 1 Corinthians 14:34. Let your woman keep silence in the churches, for it is not permitted unto them to speak, but they are commanded to be under obedience, as also saith the law. Verse 35, and if they will learn anything, let them ask their husbands at home, for it is a shame for a woman to speak in the church. This is what Paul said. So, they say that, that's the Old Testament. It says this does obedience as saith the law, but Paul reiterates that. Let the women be silent in the church. Okay? So there's that. So if they have a woman pastor, what else are they not doing? What other laws are they not following? Because to talk to a Christian, he, she, it, they, them will say, the law's done away with. Christ died for our sins. We can freely sin. All we have to do in order to get judged and get to the kingdom of heaven is to say, I believe in Jesus Christ as my Lord and personal Savior, or I accept Jesus Christ as my Lord and personal Savior. It's not the case. It talks about that in the last book of the last book, in Revelation 22. Let's get that. Okay, so this is Revelation 22, verse 14. Blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have right to the tree of life and may enter in through the gates into the city. So, as the scriptures clearly say in the New Testament, in the last book of the last book, it says you got to do the commandments. So they're not grievous, they're not hard, but if you got a demon on you, it's telling you nobody can do it. I'm not even going to try. But it says, the scriptures say we all fall short. But it doesn't say don't try. It says you fall down, get back up. We fall down, we get up. Don't Christians sing that? Okay? We all fall short, we all sin. But get up. Don't get knocked down in the first round of the fight and just stay there. Oh, I'm gonna get my payday regardless. No. They might just look at you, the judges and the boxing commission might look at you and say, man, he didn't even try. We're withholding your purse. Like the Most High would say, we're withholding the kingdom of heaven because you're not even trying at this point. Okay, so don't believe the pork chop preachers that tell you the law is done away with We're strictly under grace. We are under grace. We are under grace, but that doesn't mean the law is done away with, because it says is just because we're under grace, do we, hold on, let's get that. And this is all Paul. We're talking to Paul. Corinthians is Paul. And here we are. This is the book of Romans, chapter 6, verse 14. For sin shall not have dominion over you, for ye are not under the law, but under grace. But then shall we sin because we're not under the law, but under grace? God forbid. So it's not saying that the law is done away with. It's saying we're under grace. Okay, let's go to Romans chapter 6 and verse 1. What shall we say then? Shall we continue to sin that grace may abound? God forbid. How shall we that are dead to sin live any longer therein? So the law is not done away with. Okay. You know, when Yahushua died, who the world only calls Jesus Christ, under the law of the sacrificial law, you know what I mean? When he died, he became the sacrifice. Okay, so we're not doing all the sin offerings and peace offerings and all those things. Okay, Paul was, you know, spreading the gospel like, look, Christ was the sacrifice. All right, we got grace. As soon as we sin, we might not die immediately, but we might. You know what I'm saying? It's all into Yahweh Shemel Shai and what he wants to happen. Okay, so don't be misconstrued. We just didn't make up a whole, you know, now it's Christmas, now it's Easter, now we July 4th and Memorial Day, and we just disregard the law where it has Feast of Tabernacles and Passover and first fruits and trumpets, all these other high holy days, which are the real legit high holy days, not the man-made high holy days. So we're under grace, but the law is not done away with. All right, aiming to be more perfect each day that goes by. All right, let's continue on. Let's go to Ecclesiastes. Ecclesiastes 11. We're going to go Ecclesiastes 11 and verse 3. If the clouds be full of rain, they empty themselves upon the earth. And if a tree fall toward the south or towards the north, in a place where the tree falleth, there it shall be. So the tree is going to fall where it's going to fall. And if it falls on you as you're leaving out of church, you got to ask yourself, is this a judgment from the Most High God? Out of the 1.4 million people, I believe, in the city of Philadelphia, why did this tree fall on this young lady? Why did that, and this is all recent information, why did the church burn down in North Philly? You got to ask yourself, you know, if you said, I'm spiritual, you know, you got to discern these things. Is the Most High, is the Most High upset with the churches? Upset with the pastors? Like it says in Jeremiah 23? All signs point to yes.
Our other top story here locally, dangerous and deadly winds topple trees, power lines are all over the area. Gusts reach close to 70 miles an hour in some places. Now the winds are dying down right now, but the cold weather is moving in for us. Good afternoon to you, everyone. We're also streaming live on CBS News Philadelphia. I'm Natasha Brown.
And I'm Siafa Lewis. You have likely seen trees blowing and debris flying in your own neighborhoods. One viewer captured video as a massive tree fell. Frightening, no doubt. This happened yesterday in the Parkwood neighborhood of Northeast Philadelphia. You can see in the video the tree taking down a light pole and the pole falling onto someone's driveway. It was a similar story in Gloucester County, New Jersey, where the wind took down a number of power lines, leaving some without power. Trees were ripped from the ground, and this basketball hoop was knocked down. Even trees with apparently large root systems appear to have been upended as well.
And the wind also took down trees and branches, which then damaged power lines in the process. This is Lincoln Drive in the Chestnut Hill area. That led to some traffic nightmares for drivers just navigating around all that debris. More than half the roadway was blocked until crews could finally repair the damage. And there were also downed trees and power lines in Montgomery County as well. Early this morning, crews cut apart a tree that fell across City Avenue in Penn. Another large tree took out a garage on the 200 block of Kent Road in Lower Marion. Luckily, no one was injured. And also, these downed power lines sparked several small fires in a front yard in West Norriton Township. Now, we do have team coverage for you of the wind damage all throughout our area. Eva Anderson has an update on hard-hit Winslow Township. Bill Kelly has the latest in our Hyundai Next Weather Sphere. But let's start this afternoon in Northeast Philadelphia. That's where Nikki Dimitri is standing by, and family and friends are mourning the tragic storm-related death of a 65-year-old woman. Good afternoon, Nikki.
Natasha, good afternoon to you. Dear friends and neighbors here are still trying to come to terms with what happened. You can see the tree that my photographer Ed Spay is zooming into right now. That is the tree that fell on the car that killed 65-year-old Elizabeth Taylor. The friend many of these neighbors here called Miss Liz or Sister Liz, they tell us she was coming home from singing at a church concert.
I couldn't sleep at night. This is really like sad. Like this lady just lost her life for nothing.
Many people living in the Hill Creek Apartments community remain in shock. Hours after their 65-year-old neighbor, Elizabeth Taylor, died. Philadelphia police say a tree fell onto her car Sunday night. Please, God, let her be okay. Yvette Sullivan shared this video with CBS News Philadelphia. She lives feet away from where the tree that hit Taylor's car pulled out of the ground and toppled over.
It was a real tragedy for Liz because she was well known in our community, and she was a church woman.
We was all like out here like lifting the thing up, like trying to get the tree off. We try at least try to like push the tree off the top of the car.
While the car is no longer here, you can see parts of it in the trees as crews continue to clean up.
I left her probably like an hour before this happened.
Neighbor and dear friend Elizabeth Balaguer says the two were at the Kimmel Center earlier in the day. It was there Sister Liz, as Balaguer calls her, sang in a church concert.
Like, it's just so much that you ask yourself, and the what ifs, and just knowing that I told her I was gonna spend the whole day with her, and that's a guilt I'm gonna carry with me all my life.
Through tears, Balaguer shared Taylor was a mother, grandmother, and devoted to her church. A woman with a heart of gold, she shared, many will dearly miss.
She loves the Lord. And when you love the Lord that much and you're such a lovable person, when you lose somebody like that, it's like, how do you get over it? How do you not think about that person every day?
Several people living here shared they've had concerns over the trees in this area for quite some time. A Philadelphia Housing Authority spokesperson called what happened a tragic accident. They added they are also supporting Philadelphia police in this investigation. Now, coming up within the next half hour, neighbors and dear friends, some of whom you just heard from, they'll be holding a vigil for Miss Taylor. For now, live in Northeast Philadelphia, Nikki DeMatt.
So, coming from singing at a church function to having a tree fall on her car. As you can see, trees were falling down over, the area, Philadelphia and the surrounding areas. But for the tree to fall on her car and ultimately kill her is a judgment that you got to pay attention to, So, just to reiterate again, I don't want to get anything misconstrued. We are under grace, but being under grace is a time period. It doesn't mean the law is done away with. Those two things do not add up. And if you are in a church that tells you that you don't have to follow the laws of the Bible in the Old Testament, oh, that's old news. Now, all you got to do is love God as you love God with all your heart, your mind, and your soul, and then love your neighbor as yourself. But when you find out that love is what we call an action word, okay? What does that mean? All right. What is love according to the Bible? Let's get 1 John chapter 3 and let's start verse 2. By this we know that we love the children of God, when we love God and keep his commandments. So we got to keep his commandments, like it says in the New Testament. All right, to love God means you got to keep his commandments. Verse 3. Oh, Salaki, this is 1 John chapter 5 and verse 2, and here's verse 3. For this is the love of God, that we keep his commandments, and his commandments are not grievous, meaning they're not hard. So if you say you love God, you got to actually keep his commandments. If you're in a church that says, hey man, those commandments are done away with, you might want to get out that church before it burns down. All right. Let's go to Proverbs 22 and verse 24. So the most dangerous church in America is probably the one you're in. Okay? If your pastor is not saying that you have to keep the laws of the Bible, that is a dangerous place to be. And inside the church burning down or outside when you get outside your front door is also dangerous. Thousands of pounds of a tree could fall on your car. All right. Let's continue on. Now let's go into Islam. If you are in the mosque, also a very dangerous place to be. Your ancestors weren't Muslim. You know, God didn't give them Allah and Muhammad. You know, if your ancestors were Muslim, that means they were going off. If you are so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American, you are a child of God on your father's side. You are a child of God. You are God's chosen people. Okay? Now, if you say that you're part of this Arab religion, also bad things are happening and will continue to happen. So you got to wake up. Okay, so let's bring that out. Proverbs chapter 22 and verse 24. Make no friendship with an angry man, and with a furious man thou shalt not go. Let's bring out the video. It'll make more sense.
Nobody wins when the family feels. Put it in C-Rex, man. We on the O right now, 6th for Cedar. I mean, I'm chilling on my niggas on a regular day. You see what we doing, chilling and shit. I mean, I don't know who's thinking, and I'm giving them smoke, candies. Got a plan right now, niggas mad right now, but they never gonna slide. Candies. Nigga, you come to the O, you will see my face, man. I'm not one of these niggas that talk about, yeah, I'll be out here and really be in the house all day. No, I'm out here. What you talk about? I'm out here. Like, this my hood. Like, this my strip. You feel me? A lot of niggas be talking and really be acting
No, you
too,
go
man.
anywhere though.
Anywhere.
Respect it.
Anywhere. A lot of niggas, man. A lot of niggas know me and know I be on some real shit. I ain't never been no fake ass nigga, no fugazi. Like, I always been.
Slack it for the language. You speed this up. You know, Jake got to boast about everything.
A homicide in Rawhurst. Officials say they found an unresponsive woman in the basement of a building along the 2000 block of Knapville Avenue just after 11:30 this morning.
The defendant was avoiding arrest for an open homicide warrant in another county where Miss Lewis was in fact a witness. So she had seen the defendant from another homicide. And the victim in that case was her stepfather.
The first week of February of 2025, rapper was sentenced for a second murder in just 2 months. A chilling reminder of the violence that can erupt in our communities. This individual allegedly took out the life of his girlfriend's stepfather in a shocking act in front of a church and in front of kids, only to follow the tragedy with an even more disturbing crime, the murder of his own girlfriend, who happens to be the daughter.
So as you see, the murder happened in front of a church as well. Let's continue.
Of the stepfather just a year later. after she had assisted him in evading law enforcement. So today, we go over this chilling story of a man who managed to evade capture for an entire year, navigating a life on the run, only to be apprehended just days after committing his second murder. How did he go from being a seemingly ordinary individual to a fugitive? What circumstances led to the violent choices he made? And what drove him to ultimately turn on his own family? And throughout this discussion, we will explore his background, examine the factors that may contribute to his descent into violence. We also take a closer look at the crimes he committed, analyzing the events leading up to each tragedy and the impact they have on the victims and their families. Most importantly, we pay our respects to those who lost their lives as a result of his actions. Their stories deserve to be told, reminding us of the human cause of such violence. So before we go over this one, I want you guys to remember, I won't give you no angle. I just give you the story. So with that being said, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. We'll jump right to it. Fam, meet Rasheed Robinson, also known by his rap stage name, Rasheed Rax.
I'm no slave niggas. I'm on some shit. I'm making it quick. That money be coming. I'm paid, nigga. 100 shooters, 100 shots, 100 clips. Wait a minute, I'ma gun them down. Never stopping. I'ma get it from the rip. Bullet get it from the muscle now.
He raps something called 60 Gang. He's allegedly from 68th and Cedar, which they reference to as the O.
Squad shit. You already know what it is. She Rex, man. We on the O right now, 68th and Cedar. I mean, I'm chilling on my niggas on a regular day. You see what we doing, chilling and shit. You know what I mean? Squad shit. But like, I want to say some shit like, man, I'm about to take shit over on some calm shit, on some real rap. Young and up next. Niggas, yeah, they don't know yet, bro. I mean, we really about to start doing shit. You feel me? Y'all gonna start seeing my face around, networking, really doing shit, power moves. You feel me? I mean, let me give a shout out to some niggas though. I mean, my nigga Yacht, my nigga Stacks, Neef. You mean the whole.
And man, Chief Stacks a few years ago as he got killed on camera in their neighborhood. But then on August 11, 2021, police were searching for Rasheed Robinson after he was allegedly responsible for shooting a man 9 times inside of a Delaware County home on a Sunday afternoon with the 1-year-old and a 4-year-old who was home when it happened. The victim name was Benny Drake. She was only 25 years old at the time, and apparently Benny Drake had attempted to break up a fight inside the home. Quoting from the authorities, he was arguing with his girlfriend. He was so angry that it led to him shooting his girlfriend's stepfather, end quote.
Of shooting another man 9 times in front of 2 young children in Delaware County. It happened inside a house on Center Street in Darby Borough. Eyewitness News reporter Alicia Roberts is at police headquarters with exclusive details about the search. Alicia?
Yuki, while the murder happened here in Darby Borough, police say Rasheed Robinson could be hiding out as far away as Northeast Philly.
It's urgent to get him off the street.
Searching for an accused killer.
He knows what he did.
Police say Rasheed Robinson is armed and dangerous, accused of gunning down a man Sunday afternoon inside a Darby Borough home.
He's arguing with his girlfriend. He's so angry, it leads to him shooting what would be the father figure to his girlfriend.
Chief Joseph Gabe says the 25-year-old from Lansdowne shot Benny Drake 9 times after Drake came to the house attempting to break up that fight. According to the affidavit obtained by CBS 3, Robinson stood on a bed as he fired those fatal shots.
To be in that small room in a small house and to commit that type of crime it's just sad.
Officials also confirm a 1- and 4-year-old were home at the time of the murder, and that Robinson has previously been arrested for what they say are violent gun crimes.
He has nothing to lose.
Police from Delaware County to Philadelphia are now searching for any sign of Robinson.
We have information that he frequents the 60th and Spruce Street area, 60th and Cedar, as well as the far northeast.
They're also asking for the public's help before it's too late.
He knows that we're looking for him. Eventually, we are going to find him.
And here's another look at the suspect. Rasheed Robinson, described as 5'5", 140 pounds, with 2 tattoos under his right eye. One of those tattoos reads SNL. Anyone with information about where Robinson may be is asked to keep their distance and call police immediately. Reporting live in Darby Borough, Alicia Roberts, CBS 3 Eyewitness News.
Alicia, thank you.
Now, Rasheed had avoided being captured for over a year with the help of his girlfriend, Deja Lewis, who was also the stepdaughter of Bernie. and also the reason, allegedly, after an argument, he pulled the trigger. But a year later, Deja would get the same treatment that Rashid gave to her stepfather. October 8, 2022, on the 2000 block of Naphtali Street in the city's Ronhurst section, investigators determined that Deja Lewis was found deceased inside of her basement. 25 years old at the time, may she rest in peace, and love and condolences to her family.
To the latest now on gun violence in Philadelphia, police are investigating a homicide in Ronhurst. Officials say they found an unresponsive woman in the basement of a building along the 2000 block of Knapville Avenue just after 11:30 this morning. Officers discovered the 25-year-old with 3 gunshot wounds. She died a short time later. The identity of the woman has not been released. Officials tell us no arrests have been made and no weapons were recovered.
Investigators determined that Robinson murdered her one day prior, following an argument. They also mentioned that Robinson had been staying with her after murdering Lewis' stepfather in August of 2021. At the time of Lewis' murder, there was an active arrest warrant for Robinson for his role in the stepfather's homicide. Robinson was arrested in Upper Darby 3 days after Lewis' murder. During the arrest, investigators recovered 2 cell phones and a firearm. Ballistics from the victim's apartment matched the recovered weapon. Additional warrants allow searches of Robinson's phones and cell site location data, which confirm his presence near the crime scene. Recovered text messages also revealed that Robinson had tried to convince Lewis to retract her statement to police, implicating the defendant in her stepfather's murder. 29 years old now, Rashid Robinson was convicted by a jury of first-degree murder. And on December 6, 2024, he was sentenced to life for the demise of his girlfriend's stepfather. And on February 5th, 2025, he was sentenced to life once again for the demise of his ex-girlfriend.
So,
may they both rest in peace, and once again, love and condolences to their family.
Shalakia. Read that again. Proverbs chapter 22 and verse 24. Make no friendship with an angry man, and with furious man thou shalt not go. So this guy shot her stepfather 9 times. Least thou learn his ways, verse 25. Least thou learn his ways and get a snare to thy soul. So when you see something like that, you witness something like that, that's why you shouldn't hang around people that are into things like that. You know what I mean? If he's rapping about shooting 100 shots and, you know what I mean, bunch of crime and things of that nature, that's somebody you really don't want to be around. Okay? Because why? Let's go to Leviticus, the 5th chapter. Leviticus chapter 5. Like, man, I ain't no snitch. God don't care about nothing like that. He says, if you know something, you better say something. Leviticus chapter 5, verse 1. And if a soul sin and hear the voice of swearing and is a witness whether he had seen or know of it, if he do not utter it, then he shall bear his iniquity. So her knowing about him killing her stepfather and then harboring him away from the police ultimately got her killed. You know what I mean? As you can see, with the garb on her head, obviously, if I was a betting man, she's practiced Islam. God didn't give us Islam. God didn't give us the Quran. He gave us the law, statutes, commandments, and gave us the Holy Bible to live by with prophecy, history, and everything that in the law entails. All right, let's finish this out.
So on October 7th, 2022, the defendant, Rashid Robinson, shot and killed the victim in this case, Deja Lewis. They've been romantically involved for a period of years. They've known each other since they were children. The defendant was avoiding arrest for an open homicide warrant in another county where Miss Lewis was in fact a witness. So she had seen the defendant commit another homicide. And the victim in that case was her stepfather. To her ultimate detriment, the defendant was able to reach out to her, convince her to open her door to him, and she was actually harboring him for several months as a fugitive on that open warrant. It looks like they got into some kind of dispute in the late afternoon of October 6th. She kicked him out, or he left voluntarily, but somehow he left the apartment. And later that night, the early morning hours of October 7th, he made his way back into the apartment. And that's when he killed her. He shot her 6 times. He was arrested on October 11th of 2022. Recovered pursuant to his arrest were a cell phone and a firearm. The firearm was tested against the ballistic evidence from the scene of the homicide at 2000 Apple Avenue, and it was a match. So the 5 cartridge casings that were ejected while the defendant was shooting, the projectiles that were recovered from the floor of the apartment, as well as the body of Miss Lewis, they all came back to that gun.
As we wrap this video up, fam, it's a real reminder that somebody you know or love get into a relationship problem, man, it's unfortunate, but in this day and age, it's best to stay out of it. Because here it is, a woman had took back the man who took out the life of her mother husband, her stepfather who was there to protect her. And in return, she takes him back in, helped hide him from local enforcement for over a year. And he wasn't captured until he took her life as well. So very unfortunate situation. Send 11 prayers to the families. Fam, it's time for you guys to talk to me in the comments.
Yeah, so you gotta keep that in mind. You know, she might have called him over there. You know what I mean? This dude's tripping, and he shot her, and then he ended up living with her after the fact. So that's off. All right, let's continue on. Okay. So the most dangerous church in America, Christian church that don't follow the law, statutes, commandments, Baptist church, Catholic church don't follow the law, statutes, commandments, and also a mosque who doesn't follow the law, statutes, and commandments. They say you can eat bottom feeders like scallops and crabs and all other stuff. That's not what the Bible says. Also says, you can beat on your wife. The Bible doesn't talk about that. You know what I mean? We're supposed to love our women like Christ loved the church. Also talks about if you're starving, you can eat pork. No. And we reference Yahweh, not Allah. Okay. So it's definitely differences between being a Muslim and being a Hebrew Israelite. Okay. Let's continue. Anybody can be a Muslim, but to be a Hebrew Israelite has to be in your nationality, in your bloodline, on your father's side, so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American. All right, so let's continue on. More fires erupt. Let's go to Isaiah 47 and verse 14. At this point now, we're not going to watch the whole video, I don't think. We'll see the information. I'm watching it for the first time myself, but I believe in Abington, if I'm not mistaken, there is a shelter in place, and people are now being evacuated from the area due to the fumes coming from this fire. So the Most High is definitely casting judgment all over the place. All right, Isaiah 47 and verse 14. Behold, they shall be as stubble. The fire shall burn them. They shall not deliver themselves from the power of the flame. There shall not be a coal to warm at, nor a fire to sit before it. So it's not one of those warming up your hands type of fire. This is a fire that is a massive fire, and also the fumes could kill you. So let's get to that. And we'll come back to the scriptures.
NBC 10 breaking news.
Breaking right now, voluntary evacuations are underway after a fire at a factory in Montgomery County. A shelter-in-place order is in effect for businesses and residents in Abington Township. And that fire is continuing to burn tonight at STS Technologies. Sky Force 10 is live over the scene as smoke rises from that building. You can see the charred remains of what's left of the factory as crews continue to fight the fire. Thank you for joining us. I'm Jacqueline London.
And I'm Johnny Archer. Nearly 250 homes are impacted by these voluntary evacuations. Here's what we know at this hour. This fire started just before 10 p.m. last night. About 68 different fire companies from across the county rushed to the scene to help fight that fire. Fire officials say they thought they had that fire under control earlier this morning, but then the change of conditions and the weather caused a flare-up. Air quality tests have revealed no hazardous substances in the air. A shelter has been set up at Cheltenham High School for those who have been evacuated. Now, this is the latest evacuation map from authorities. Everyone inside the red line is being asked to evacuate the area. All residents and businesses outside of the evacuation area, but within 1 mile of the factory, are asked to shelter in place and avoid the area. We have live team coverage on the fire, including the air quality concerns and how the weather is contributing to the dangers in the surrounding areas. We start tonight with NBC 10 Shair Arias, who is live outside Cheltenham High School, where the Red Cross has opened up a shelter for those who have evacuated. Shair?
Good afternoon, Jacqueline and Johnny. Yes, we are right outside of that shelter that has been placed by the Red Cross. There hasn't been much movement. I'm going to show you right over here. I'm just going to step to the side. There hasn't been that many people coming in and out, but we do see some of those emergency medical service units and the police officers that have been placed outside. Now, the Abington Township is encouraging residents and businesses within 1 mile radius or 5-block radius of the fire to evacuate. Officials say that about 247 residents are affected by this. So far, the majority of them have decided to evacuate on their own or have decided to stay. The areas that residents are being asked to evacuate are Stewart Avenue, Runmead Avenue, Florence Avenue between Runmead and also West Avenue, as well as Highland, Rodman, Hillside, and Myrtle Avenue. SEPTA services in the West Trenton, Lansdale, and Doylestown and Warminster rail lines remain suspended due to the fire, as well as bus services in that area. As of now, SEPTA says that they are supplementing services on the Chestnut Hill East and Fox Chase lines to accommodate passengers who are using those lines as an alternative. Now, customers are encouraged to check SEPTA for updates as well. Now, due to the fire and evacuation notice, officials announced that Jenkinstown School District will be closed tomorrow.
Because it's a chemical fire, unpredictable, that if this flare up were to come up again, we're not sure. You know, we do know that they use very harsh chemicals, right, in the aeronautical engineering process of making bolts and fasteners. So out of an abundance of caution, we made that decision to self-evacuate.
Officials tell us they are continuing to monitor air quality, and they are asking residents to just stay clear of this area until they are done with extinguishing the fire completely. And of course, while they are doing their job. Live from Cheltenham High School, sending it back to you guys.
Yeah, still a lot of uncertainty in the area. All right, Shair, thanks for that report there. And the NBC 10 investigators have been looking into the potential dangers to the community as a result of this fire.
Investigative reporter Claudia Vargas is joining us with what type of materials the manufacturing plant produces and why those in the region should be concerned about the air quality. Claudia.
Yeah, Jackie. Well, since the turn of the 20th century, PSP Technologies has been manufacturing specialty metal fasteners and machine parts for the aviation and aerospace industries. While it's unclear which chemicals burned last night, one doctor we spoke with tells us residents should be cautious.
So, aviation, just got a report that 2 planes collided in midair in Arizona today. Couple of days ago, what's that? Plane flipped on its side in Toronto. Before that, a plane crashed in Georgia. Before that, a plane crashed in Florida. So it's like every day a plane is crashing or falling out the sky. And now the aviation, place that material and aerospace industries burns them on fire. Let's go to Isaiah 47, verse 15. Thus shall they be unto thee with whom thou hast labored, even thy merchants from thy youth, and shall wander every one to his quarter, none shall save thee. Let's precept that with Revelation 18 and 11. And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buy her merchandise anymore.
This thick black smoke was billowing out earlier today from SPS Technologies in Abington. Shelter-in-place orders have been issued for residents and businesses within a 1-mile radius. Montgomery County officials have suggested voluntary evacuations for certain streets, all in an effort to keep the community safe. Now, the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency worked with SPS Technologies as early as 2010 to clean up contaminants from that facility that leaked into the groundwater. Those contaminants included cadmium and chlorinated solvents, which are used for metal cleaning. We spoke with a doctor at Temple Lung Center. She says, based on the video of the fire, she's concerned about the smoke and particulate matter coming off the manufacturing plant. She says that while it's unclear what chemicals may have burned in the fire, a building on fire will still result in harmful gases spreading in the air.
I don't think we'll know for a while what the extent of this damage and injury is, but you can have any number of symptoms. So, respiratory symptoms, congestion, watery eyes, runny nose, cough, shortness of breath. Then also cardiovascular risks increase. So increased risk of heart attack and stroke.
And Dr. Garfield suggests people follow the shelter-in-place orders. And for those who must leave the house, she recommends they put on a well-fitted KN95 mask. For the investigators, Claudia Vargas, NBC 10 News.
All right, that's good. So I'd say I made a mistake. I said a couple days ago, the plane crashed. It was like yesterday. You know what I mean? The way these days are going, it's like, man, that happened a week ago. No, less than 24 hours ago. I do believe. But let's talk about it. Let's go to Proverbs 4:18. The terrible thing is that people don't even know what's going on. It's almost like they go to church and they sing and dance and read 2 scriptures that say Jesus loves you and pass the collection plate, and the pastor never brings out the prophecy of what's supposed to happen in the end times. One being the Archangel Michael will be knocking planes out the sky. That's in Revelation, the 12th chapter. And talks about that in Daniel. How he's going to help the children of Israel. Okay, because things are getting bad. Now that Trump is in office and he's sending the 10 tribes of Israel, the so-called Hispanics, to Guantanamo Bay, it seems like the Archangel Michael is making moves in the air. The Most High God is dropping ish, if I can say that. Let me switch that up. The Most High God is dropping planes out of the sky. Okay. Don't want to get too street for you, Let me clean that up. My apologies. But he's dropping them, okay? So let's go to Proverbs chapter 4, verse 18. But the path of the just is as the shining light that shineth more and more unto the perfect day. So what we're supposed to be doing is following these laws, statutes, commandments to the best of our ability. If and when we mess up, we have an advocate, Yahushua, you know what I mean? A mediator to the Most High. Doesn't just destroy us immediately, especially because God knows my heart. But not like the Christians said God knows my heart and continue to sin willfully. No, but I messed up. I apologize. I repent. I'm going to do everything in my power to not do that again. Lord, can you help me? You know what I'm saying? That's the realness of it all. Not the I do whatever I want when I want. That's what Satanists do. Okay. But we're trying to get more and more into the perfect day where our 24 hours is filled with Yahweh Bashim Yahushai and praising the Most High God and doing the right thing. You know what I mean? You can break it down into morning, afternoon, and night to more and more to a perfect day. Let's continue. Verse 19. The way of the wicked is a darkness. They know not at what they stumble. So people are getting on these planes and not realizing why they crash because they don't read. Doesn't it say in Revelation 1 verse 3, blessed is thou that readeth? Paraphrasing. So you guys should read. You want to get blessed, you got to read the book. Okay. Let's go to Psalm 20th. Go to Psalm chapter 20 and start verse 6. Now know, I, that the Lord saveth his anointed. He will hear him from his holy heaven with the saving strength of his right hand. Verse 7, some trust in chariots and and some in horses, but we will remember the name of the Lord our God. Yahweh. Okay, verse 8, they are brought down and fallen, but we are risen and stand upright. Okay, so you don't have to worry about, be all scared to get on a plane. You got to be doing the work of the Most High God, following his law, statutes, commandments. If you don't, you should most definitely be afraid getting on a plane, especially nowadays.
Yeah, as the captain just said, we have to take a look at how fast he was flying when he came in, especially if this is a no-flap landing. And the whole idea that the plane would bounce, let us not forget, if it bounces, it doesn't mean it's going to come back in the same position in terms of where wings are. And if it comes back and it's either dipping left or dipping right, that's where the wing hits before the wheels hit. And that could cartwheel and put this plane on its, not on its side, but upside down, as we see right now.
Right. So that makes sense to you, Captain?
It does.
We're watching now with the treatment that's taking place with the fire department. They've been on the scene pretty quickly. What we haven't heard for sure yet is about, and I've seen various reports online and other places about whether there are confirmed injuries. I don't believe we have any confirmation of injuries. Okay, so I'm told that what the local police department is saying right now is that there are, quote, some injuries, but they have not confirmed the number. The earlier comments that we heard from the officials was that all the passengers and all the crew had been, quote unquote, accounted for. Captain, you said this situation could have been catastrophic. We appear to have, I guess, avoided the worst in a situation like this. Of course, we don't know all the details yet.
Well, the airplane didn't break up.
Right.
That's the one good thing. And so people would be hanging from their seatbelts upside down, and the injuries could have happened as they were getting unstrapped. Mm-hmm. Also trying to get a little bit disoriented, being upside down in a tube like that, and then going through the evacuation process could have caused some injuries as well. Okay, there's the statement from Toronto Pearson on all of this. They're aware of the incident upon landing of this Delta Airlines plane. As the captain said, it was Endeavor. It was the operating airline here from Minneapolis. Emergency teams responding, all passengers and crew accounted for. So that's what they said earlier. Peter, maybe you would have some a bigger picture perspective on all of this. I know people turn on their televisions and then right away they see on the bottom there's a flight landing upside down. So, oh my goodness, here we go again with all these incidents. Is it here we go again? Is it more high profile incidents than in the past, or is it really what it seems? What would you say?
There is no pattern here. No, nobody should jump to any conclusion that we have a bigger problem with air safety than we already.
Whoa, wait a minute there, buddy. You know what I mean? They need people that can come in there and like quell the issue, and make sure that people still get on these planes. But I mean, Ray Charles can see what's going on here, and he's been dead for a while now, and you gotta understand something. If you get a plane crash every day and it just keeps on happening, and like I said, this is actually old news, and it was yesterday. Today, 2 planes crashed midair in Arizona. So, I don't want you to worry. Well, I think it's a little late, because the average person is seeing what's going on. I say the average person, somebody that doesn't really read the scriptures, somebody that has them read it to them, or doesn't believe in God, period. And I definitely don't want to ride on a plane with that person. But as long as you follow the law, statutes, commandments, people are going to want to ride with you. They say, oh, he got fringes on. She has fringes on. Oh, this is going to be a safe trip. You know what I'm saying? So that's why we got to not only, wear the uniform of the righteous, but actually follow these law, statutes, commandments to the best of our ability. Let's continue.
Already have. No, this is an isolated incident. We've seen inverted landings before. There was one in Hong Kong with an MD-11 where it was a cargo plane that bounced as well and ended up inverted. And no, that was a wide body. The crew got out alive. But we've seen situations like this before where you either land long, you land fast, you bounce and you lose control. And once you drag a wing, you've lost control of the plane. We saw that crash in Scottsdale last week. where the Learjet's landing gear basically split off on landing. He lost control of the plane because the wing dipped and it spun him around into another plane. Once you lose that, you lose control. These people are very, very lucky that this plane actually didn't break up and that it's inverted intact.
Okay, what would you say about that? These the bigger picture concerns people have after seeing high profile incident after high profile incident about air safety, especially in the United States. What would you say?
Well, every one of these aircraft that have had an incident in the last little bit are smaller airplanes. And I think smaller airplanes are safe as well, but the major carriers, they're still accident free. And so I agree with what was said earlier. There's no pattern here. We have the safest pilots, the safest airplanes in the world. And I would fly any day, every day. And I have.
All right. So let's read that one more time. Proverbs chapter 4, verse 19. The way of the wicked is a darkness. They know not at what they stumble. So they have no idea what's going on. You know what I mean? For anybody to be honest and to say, obviously something's going on, they'll be like, we don't need that right now. You know what I mean? It's a $1 billion industry, and you're messing up our money. So we can get this guy out of here. You know what I mean? But the reality is something obviously is going on. And when you read the scriptures, it pretty much is clear. God's knocking them out of the sky. Now let's continue. Okay, let's look at speaking of the sky, let's look at the sun. This is an interesting. I got to line this video up, but I'd never seen anything like this before. So, just give me 1 second while I line it up. It's very strange. Look at the sky. Look at the sky. Matter of fact, we can start here.
Just a couple of days ago from Curtis Fry out of Big Spring, Texas. He goes on to say, hey there, Michael, been watching for 3 years. These are photos I took Friday morning on the 14th in Big Spring, Texas. Just very strange. Never seen the sky like this before. So I want to share with you guys the series of photos that he shared with me from the morning of the 14th between 9:12 a.m.
That looks crazy. While we get that, let's get Psalm chapter 19 and verse 1. Psalm chapter 19, verse 1. The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament showeth his handiwork.
And 9:16 a.m. Check out this sky in between the earth and the sun. How about that? It's like it's trying to tell us a story. You don't see skies like this every day. And the planets don't line up like they are right now every day. In fact, it's rare. It doesn't happen very often. I've gone back, like I said, 150 years, and I've made connections between the current planetary arrangement that we're in right now and earthquakes on the earth, volcanic activity on the earth, mysterious skies like we're seeing right here. Look at those waves showing up in the sky. Are you serious right now? Those are very, very impressive photos coming out of Big Spring, Texas. And again, the viewer Curtis said he'd never seen the sky look like that. And I believe it. I don't think I've ever seen the sky, with the exception of maybe one time. I remember looking in the southeastern sky from out here in southeast Phoenix, and we were in a unique planetary arrangement like we're in right now. And the atmosphere almost looked like wadded up aluminum foil in one patch of the southeastern sky. It didn't look exactly like this. This is highly unusual. I couldn't agree more. These are excellent photos, once again, of a very mysterious sky above Big Spring, Texas. And it makes you wonder if it was like that in other locations around the world. But back to the earthquake swarm in Alaska. You can see it's still underway, the orange circle.
So the earthquake swarms in Alaska, Greece, and I believe Hawaii, and also in Ethiopia. Let me get more diverse than that, okay? Now let's look at the sun.
The next 2 or 3 weeks. And I want to share with you guys a very cool video that was sent in by Linda from Manchester, United Kingdom.
Let's continue on though. Psalm 19, verse 2. Day unto day uttereth speech, and night unto night showeth knowledge. these is no speech nor language where their voice is not heard. Their line is gone out through all the earth, and their words to the end of the world. In them hath he set a tabernacle for the sun.
Zoomed in on a recent sunset back on February 5th of 2025, and to her surprise, she captured a CME launching off the surface of the sun. Check this out. This is very, very cool, and she was quite surprised. Check this out. You're going to see activity start to emerge from the surface of the sun right in here. Watch right up here. And that's what she's saying. Is that a coronal mass ejection? And then she zooms in. And you can tell by the sound of her voice. Look at that. Isn't that wild? What a unique perspective of the sunset from Manchester, United Kingdom. So I went over to the Soho and I did find a CME that aligns very closely to with what Linda saw from the United Kingdom. Right there it is. This was on the 6th. So this particular instrument is about 8 hours ahead of what Linda was filming from the United Kingdom. So that lines up. There's the CME that Linda recorded from the United Kingdom. Talk about rare. That is something you don't see very often either. Great catch, Linda. Thank you for sharing. And
yeah, that's crazy. Like the sun exploded. Okay. So you got now you got the sun exploding. Not saying they don't have mass ejections like that, but to get it captured on camera and be able to see it is very rare. I never seen it before, but that's amazing. Let's go to Luke chapter 21 and verse 25. So there's a lot of prophecies happening right now. You know what I mean? It's not just a time to sing and dance and jump around and, act a fool and not know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? That's setting people up for failure. That's very dangerous. Okay. Luke chapter 21 and 25. And there shall be signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars, and upon the earth distress of nations with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring. All that stuff is happening right now. You saw what happened with the sun. I believe next month is going to be a blood moon, lunar eclipse. All right, the stars, well, the planets right now are on the one side of the sun, and there's like I said, there's earthquake swarms all around the world. Okay, I think Greece is up to like 15,000 or 18,000 earthquakes. That's unprecedented. You know what I mean? So you can imagine just a regular house and its foundation just crumbling over there. Verse 26. Men's hearts failing them for fear and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth, for the powers of heaven shall be shaken. So even right now, the rulership is being shaken in America. You got Donald Trump and Elon Musk cutting everything. The people that have been in power and been getting paid off of tax dollars in the United States are not only getting fired, they're also getting investigated. People might go to jail for the corruption that's been happening in Washington, D.C. All right. So people have heart attacks when they understand what's really coming to the earth. You know what I mean? That's why it's going to be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Everyone that says, Lord, Lord, is not going to enter into the kingdom of heaven. So obviously you have to do something to get there and stop making excuses saying, oh, nobody can follow the law, so I might as well not even try. Yes, you're under grace, but that doesn't mean willfully sin, okay? Don't let that pork chop pastor who said, I used to be a pimp. You still are a pimp. Don't let him get you thrown into the pit when you have opportunity to make it to the kingdom of heaven. Verse 27, and then shall they see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. So you gotta understand how unbelievably close we are to seeing that. We're seeing all these things occur. We're seeing these prophecies unfold. So soon Christ is going to come back. You don't want to, make your election sure. Don't sit there stuck with a pork chop in your mouth, with some shrimp in your refrigerator. You know what I mean? Which is the cockroach of the sea. Going to church on Sunday, which isn't even the Sabbath, and talking about everybody like a dog, that's not going to make it to the kingdom of heaven. Okay? We're too close to the end. Let's continue on. Speaking of Elon Musk, let's go to James 1, verse 11. James chapter 1, verse 11. For the sun is so sooner risen with the burning heat. You see, but it withereth the grass, and the flower thereof falleth, and the grace of the grace of the fashion of it perisheth. So also shall the rich man fade away in his ways. So a rich man like Elon Musk that's telling people, you gotta get up and go to work. What are you doing sitting home being able to do your job on a computer? Now we need you to buy gas. We need you to buy lunch. We need you to spend money to revive this economy. You know what I mean? While he's sitting around on Twitter all day, but he says, I don't know all this stuff. He doesn't know how to make a rocket. He pays people to do this. So people think, oh, Elon Musk is a genius. No, he's just wealthy. How? Slavery. Now let's get that. And let's get Psalm chapter 140 and verse 8 on deck. Let's talk about Elon Musk and his Nazi bloodline.
Unleash the power of knowledge and connect with the heart's perspective, the vibrant Diaspora News. I'm your host for a news channel and join the conversation.
Hello, African Diaspora News family. My name is Renee Lumrema, and I am your host right here on the African Diaspora News channel. I'm reporting live from Johannesburg, South Africa. Elon Musk's father, Errol Musk, says Elon's maternal grandparents were members of the Nazi Party in Canada and later moved to South Africa because they supported the apartheid regime. They supported the apartheid government. And some even say that his maternal grandparents funded and invested in the apartheid government. Elon Musk and his entire family were all pro-apartheid in South Africa and supported the brutal killings of Black political activists. His wealth comes from the sweat and blood of our forefathers. He is a direct benefactor of apartheid, and that wealth is now intertwined in the American economy, and it is calling the shots in America and influencing key policies and international relationships, to which it will be catastrophic for Trump's administration. Check out what Errol Musk said about his son, family ties and history, and their political ties to the Nazi regime, to the apartheid government. Check out this clip.
Her parents, by the way, were very fanatical in favor of apartheid. This is quite interesting. Her parents came to South Africa from Canada because they sympathized with the Afrikaner government. They used to support Hitler and all that sort of stuff. But they didn't know, obviously, I don't think they knew what the Nazis were doing. But they in Canada, they were they were the German party in Canada, and they sympathized with the Germans. Yeah. So when the Afrikaners government came into power here in 1948, then May's father, who was quite an interesting guy, he was a very good pilot. He said he wants to be with the Afrikaners because he agrees with them.
You know what I found interesting about Trump's recent unwarranted attacks on South Africa? 3 of the biggest billionaires supporting Trump come from apartheid South Africa. Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, and David Sachs All three white men are South Africans, and all of a sudden, South Africa is in the spotlight upon Trump entering the White House. You make the connection for me there. You tell me what is going on. Are you following what I'm saying? Three of the biggest billionaires from apartheid South Africa support Trump's government. And upon entering the White House, South Africa is suddenly in the spotlight. But for now, we talk Elon Musk. Elon Musk has been showing you his racist views. His father gave us where his racist antics stemmed from. It is not something he picked up along the way. He was born with it. He has been supporting right-wing efforts in Germany, telling the Germans to not focus on the past, but focus on the future. But he is focused on the past, dealing with South Africa because he can't stand the fact that US aid played a role in ending racial apartheid. Elon Musk, together with the AfriForum, told the biggest lie that the black government of South Africa is confiscating land from white people without compensation. And on top of that, the black people of South Africa are killing white farmers. The biggest propaganda ever spread, the biggest propaganda to be given the spotlight at this moment. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. And you know what? It's fine. It's okay. South Africa, it's fine. Let's relax. Let's relax. Because he's saying that we are stealing land without compensation from white people, which is unconstitutional. And Trump, without investigating anything, ate up that lie and looked like a fool on social media, repeating racist, divisive talks cooked by the anti-black AfriForum. All of these things are tied to the personal vendetta Elon Musk has against US aid. US aid played a vital role in ending apartheid, in ending Elon Musk's privileges, his white privileges, and US aid continued supporting South Africa. So what better way to get back at South Africa than cut US aid? Exactly. He can't stand that US aid ended white rule in South Africa. So this is his way of seeking justice, and Donald Trump is eating it up. I thought Donald Trump is smart, but really, guys, no, he proved me wrong. I thought he was a smart man, but yeah, no. Him being a puppet to Elon Musk is something that I never saw coming.
There is no doubt, Melvin, that these attacks on U.S. aid by Elon Musk is because of retribution for the role they played during apartheid in South Africa. And for Trump trying to stick his nose in the business of South Africa is utterly ridiculous when it is a black-dominated country, but the reality is far more than a supermajority of the land owned in that country is still owned by racist white folks.
Well, nothing to argue with you there. Your facts are correct. Absolutely, this is tied to Elon Musk, and Trump really doesn't know what's going on in Africa. Period. He goes bombed Somalia this week. Who told him to do that? And he just killing some black folks, no problem. And certainly the South Africa situation is something he doesn't know anything about, but yet he's going to make these hard decisions about the economy of the South Africans and the United States. Very shocking and very disappointing, to say the least.
It's just crazy that Donald Trump is making decisions on a whim. He doesn't know what is going on in the day-to-day lives of ordinary citizens of South Africa. But what he does know is the unequal distribution of wealth in South Africa. He knows that the white minority owns 80% of the country's wealth. He knows that the black people in this country live below the poverty line, but yet he chose to overlook that fact and spew nonsense he knows about. He chose to overlook that fact and chose a side. This is him.
So Ham, I guess maybe Ham is really surprised, but I don't think anybody in this country is, you know what I'm saying? He put out a full-page article for the, I just call them the Central Park Five, sending teenagers to jail and saying we need to bring back the death penalty and all that. So we're not surprised over here. Ham is up in arms. But, the main point in that is to reiterate the fact that Elon Musk is actually a Nazi. So when he does this, oh, I gave my heart out to everybody. Nah. he's a Nazi. And all the Nazis love that. They got the social media like, yo, we finally got one in the White House. So not following the law, statutes, commandments, and having these type of people in control of the federal government is very dangerous. You know what I'm saying? So do yourself a favor and find out the law, statutes, commandments, the first 5 books of the Bible, read it, and apply it to your life. Okay. And some of the stuff doesn't even apply to you. You know what I mean? We don't have a temple. You know, if you're a man, you don't have to do the cleansing procedures that a woman needs to do if she's on her monthly. You know what I mean? If you're if you're a woman, you have to do the same things that a man has to do as far as the law goes, the priest and everything like that. So, relax, read, apply. Okay. Let's go to Psalm chapter 40 and verse 8. Grant not, O Lord, the desires of the wicked. Further not his wicked device, lest they exalt themselves. Salah. So, that David asked for deliverance through wicked men. Elon Musk is a wicked man. We should ask for deliverance from this wicked man. You know what I mean? He's going to do what he's going to do because God set him up in that in this his capacity to pretty much destroy America. So, allow that to happen. But when it comes to destroying, which of course is on the agenda, God's chosen people, don't let that happen, the Most High. Right now, you have 10 tribes that are in Guantanamo Bay, and they're coming for you, so-called black men too. Okay, don't be shocked. Okay, when that decree comes down, and all of a sudden they shipping you to Romania or some black site somewhere in South Africa or whatever. You know what I mean? Race wars are coming to America. Verse 9. As for the head of those that can pass me about, let the mischief of their own lips cover them. Verse 10. Let burning coals fall upon them. Let them be cast into the fire, into deep pits, that they rise not up again. So, may the Most High judge these people, okay? These wicked people. Verse 11, let not the evil speaker be established in the earth. Evil shall hunt the violent man to overthrow him. So everything he's doing, let it come right back to him like a boomerang. You know what I mean? Bubba Gashaw. You know what I'm saying? Let that happen. All this evil that he's bringing to the world, may the Most High send evil on him. Okay? Let's continue. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 6 and verse 34. So when Dylan Roof says, hey, I would like to come in and pray with you guys, you still going to do that in your church? Your church, oh, everybody come in, come as you are. If you're an Edomite with a 9mm in your waistband, come on in while we close our eyes and bow. And he shoots each one of our grandparents. You know what I mean? And that's what happened with Dylan Roof. Shot old, for the most part, old, unarmed, everybody's unarmed people in a church. He's not rare, if you will, okay? This is what you're dealing with. So if, the most dangerous church in America has an open door policy for the Edomites, okay? And that's dangerous. Let's see what this Edomite did over in Michigan. 700 miles. He drove 700 miles because he wanted blood. Let's get Proverbs chapter 6 and verse 34. For jealousy is the rage of a man. Therefore, he will not spare in the day of vengeance. Verse 35. He will not regard any ransom, neither will he rest content, though thou givest many gifts. HOI everywhere. Yeshai brought that out on Saturday. And it lines up perfectly with this next story.
A Michigan man will be extradited back to Bucks County to face more than a dozen felony charges.
Slackly.
Police say he set fire to the home of a man who had an online relationship with his ex-girlfriend, the family of 6 narrowly escaping, but investigators say they lost everything. Our Kelly Rule is live for us in Bensalem. Kelly, what else are you learning tonight?
Well, Sheba, according to court documents, 21-year-old Harrison Jones was supposed to drive his ex-girlfriend to meet the man she was communicating with online here in Bensalem at a local hotel in the near future. But instead, investigators say he came on his own with, quote, murderous intentions.
Murderous intentions. What type of woman says, hey, bestie, even though we used to be really close and, you're my boyfriend or ex-boyfriend, can you drive me to a hotel to meet some man I met online? First of all, she's gone with the wind. And then secondly, look what this guy does.
This is a family's worst nightmare. To be asleep in their home, not knowing that a stranger broke into their home and attempted to take their lives by setting their home on fire.
Bensalem Township Police say this is 21-year-old Harrison.
Yeah, so just look at him. Look at those cold eyes. Can I come in and pray with you? What's your pastor gonna say? Exactly. You need to get out that church.
Jones, running from a home on Merganser Way just after 5:15 a.m. on February 10th, after they say he started a fire while a family of 6 slept inside.
30 seconds later, smoke is seen coming from the rear of the property and an explosion of fire. He drove over 730 miles, 11 hours, to do what he did, and then drove directly back home.
Police say this is what the fire looked like when first responders arrived. The family of 6 seen here in a GoFundMe escaped, but all had to go to the hospital for smoke inhalation. Investigators say after pouring through hours of surveillance video using license plate readers and intersection cameras, they determined Jones drove from Rockland, Michigan, parked by the home for hours, and eventually got inside to start the fire, then leave. Documents say his ex-girlfriend from high school was in an online relationship with the man that lives in the house. Police say the mom in the house woke up to someone making noise downstairs, but at first thought it was her own son.
It was later determined that was not the son. It was a stranger in the residence. It's a miracle they all survived, and we credit the mother of that house for taking the actions she did to protect her family and ensure that they all lived.
The GoFundMe for the family says it was their 2 dogs, Trey and Jet, that alerted the mom, who was also battling cancer, that something was wrong. Investigators say both dogs died in the fire. A family member started a fundraiser with the Philadelphia Animal Welfare Society to honor their memory. And a PAWS spokesperson tells Fox 29 they will be creating a plaque to dedicate one of their kennels to Trey and Jet for their heroism.
This family suffered such inconceivable loss. This defendant's actions are incomprehensible, and he will be held accountable.
Now, the family did release a long statement to Fox 29 thanking first responders and investigators. It did say in part, quote, "This has been one of the darkest and most difficult times in our lives. However, the kindness and love we receive from so many around us has given us so much hope and inspiration." We do have a link to that GoFundMe and PAWS fundraiser on fox29.com. Sheba.
All right, Kelly Rule, thank you. The daughter of a slain Delaware.
Okay, we'll get to that. But matter of fact, we'll keep it here. He killed the dogs. It's a damn shame what they did to that dog. That's why Esau's really gonna snap, because you know how they love their dogs. So even though nobody died, got burnt up. 11 hours. Got there. I don't know what time he got there, but he set the fire at 5:15 in the morning. Esau is a psychopath. And if you don't know who Esau is and you're in the church, you are in the wrong church, because he has a long history of not liking Jacob. If you don't know who Jacob is, you are in the wrong church. And why do you even have a Bible if you do not read it? Ask yourself. Okay. But let's continue on with the good word. Now let's this story's sick too. Esau's going with the wind, man. Pretty much. Let's get 1 John chapter 2 and 18. You know what I mean? There's nowhere in the Bible where it says trust man. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't say it. You know, you got to trust God. But if you have God knows my heart and God's telling me that I should love everybody, I'm sorry to tell you, that's not God in your heart. Okay? The Most High God is going to destroy a large amount of people on this planet because why? They are wicked, just like he did during the time of Noah. So if he killed all those people in Noah because they were wicked and repented that he made man at that time, like, man, why'd I do this? These guys are gone. And he said now is going to be like the days of Noah because everybody's wicked, everybody's, a sodomite or, they, them, and, atheists don't even believe in God. God hates the sin. He loves the sinner. It's not true. There's scripture that backs, matter of fact, let's get it. The scriptures totally destroy that. Okay. This is the book of Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha, chapter 12 and verse 6, which was in the original 1611 King James Bible before they took it out because of things like this in it. For the Most High hateth sinners and will repay vengeance unto the ungodly and keepeth them against the mighty day of their punishment. So how can God love everybody when he hates sinners? He hates the sin. He loves the sinner. That's not scripture. Okay. We just read the scripture. He hates the sinner. Okay. Let's continue. All right. Let's go to this cult. No, they say the Hebrew Israelites is a cult. No, this is a cult. Okay. And we're about to watch that. 1 John chapter 2 and 18. Little children, it is the last time. And as ye have heard that Antichrist shall come, even now are there many antichrists, whereby we know that it is the last time. And that's where we're at. There's a bunch of antichrists out here. God loves the antichrist? Come on, that don't make any sense. All right. And that power that men need to be in control and be over top of people. You know what I mean? That is cult-like mind state. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna say that doesn't exist in the Hebrew Israelite segment of the population. Okay, that's why you just don't follow anybody. What you supposed to do? You're supposed to follow Christ. You're supposed to follow the Most High. You start seeing people that are drunk off power, you shouldn't be around those people. Okay. Now let's get Nahum chapter 3, verse 5 on deck.
The daughter of a slain Delaware County couple is a person of interest now in her parents' murders. Authorities say Michelle Zashko is believed to be a part of a cult-like group tied to a number of killings from across the country. Among them, the deaths of her parents in Chester Heights and the murder of a Border Patrol agent in Vermont. Action News reporter Chad Pradelli joins us with new information tonight.
The cult-like group is called the Zizians, a sort of fringe radical left-wing group. And according to authorities, they're linked to a half dozen homicides across the country, including 2 in Chester Heights. It was a double homicide that shook neighbors in Chester Heights. Rita and Richard Zotko were gunned down in their home on the unit block of Highland Drive on New Year's Eve in 2022. Both shot in the head. According to court documents, a Ring camera captured audio of what sounded like shouting of mom, then oh my God, oh my God. The couple's daughter, Michelle, was questioned in the homicide, but never charged. Now she and another person of interest in the homicide, Daniel Blank, have been arrested in Maryland. They, along with the purported leader of the Zizians, Jack Lasota, were arrested Sunday for trespassing and obstruction of justice after trying to camp on a person's property in Frostburg, Maryland. Charging documents reveal Zachko was also arrested for a handgun offense. A statement of probable cause says she and Blank were dressed in black with gun belts and ammo. All are being held without bond. The Zizians appear to be a group of tech-savvy vegans, many of whom are transgender or identify as non-binary. Lasota identifies as a woman. The group is linked to murders in California and also the murder of U.S. Customs and Border Patrol agent David Mayland, who was killed in a shootout near the Canadian border in Vermont last month. 21-year-old Teresa Youngblood is charged in that case. Her companion, Felix Bockholt, was killed in the shootout. Both were allegedly armed with handguns. And today, federal authorities charged Zajko with providing false information in the purchase of 3 guns a year earlier in Vermont, where she was living, 2 of which had serial numbers that matched the weapons used in the shootout. Court records say all 3 arrested in Maryland are wanted for questioning for other crimes across the country. Shortly after the Zajko murders, state police also tried to question Lesotho after they served a search warrant at a Chester hotel where Michelle Zajko was staying. They were searching for the gun used in the double homicide. This is Lesotho's booking photo where she went limp and acted deceased. State police are not commenting on the investigation. And the Delaware County District Attorney's Office released a statement saying it's working with Pennsylvania State Police in the pursuit of justice and that the investigation is ongoing.
Yeah, they, them, he, she, and they're like that's the she dropped out. She, that looks like a guy, and then they're saying that, well, he did. I don't know who. What? Listen, this place is gone, and Donald Trump comes in and he says, "And shake the heavens, shake the rulership, and say there's 2 genders." Okay, how can one person be bisexual and then to be 35 other genders? Bi just means 2, but you know. I'm not a English professor or anything, but I just know how to read. Let's go to Nahum chapter 3. We'll start at verse 5. Behold, I am against thee, saith the Lord of hosts, and I will discover thy skirts upon thy face, and I will show the nation thy nakedness, and the kingdoms thy shame. So you get to see, through internet, through the news, through, pretty much paying attention that America is an exporter of sodomy and just all manners of filthiness. Okay, and you can see that. Look, it's a roving pack of vegan transformers. Verse 6. And I will cast abominable filth upon thee and make thee vile and will set thee as a gazing stock. It's like people looking like, what in the world is going on in America? This is the place of Baphomet and Satan, and everything that's evil in the world is stationed in America. I'm not saying other places don't have their problems, but America embraces this. You know what I'm saying? So how did the girl that destroyed her parents get to just leave? Ain't you home at that time? I mean, like they on the Ring camera shouting stuff out. Both parents gone, you the only one still alive. They're gonna question him, he, they, and say, all right, you can go home. You can leave now. What you mean? But the thing is, that's another thing. You get to see that they treat, each other different than they treat us. If that was a so-called black family or a black person involved, they would have never left that police station. You know what I'm saying? All right, you go home. You've been through enough already. And then ends up killing Border Patrol agents and goes on a daggone killing spree. You know what I'm saying? But that is America. All right, last video. Let's go to Matthew chapter 12 and verse 26. Matthew 12, verse 26. We'll get to that after we watch this.
New surveillance video shows the moments that led up to a shooting in Miami Beach.
2 people are recovering after police say a man randomly confronted and shot at them 17 times. Records show the shooter described as Palestinians.
Let's get right out live to NBC6 reporter Christian Colon, who is live for us in Miami Beach with what we're learning out there.
Yeah, for sure. A scary situation. One of them was shot in the shoulder. We're told the other one was shot in the arm. Luckily, these 2 people made it out alive. And I want to go right now to some video we are just getting that the victim actually shared with NBC6. It shows him bleeding after getting shot in the shoulder. The victim tells me he is recovering today and is on medication. They're very lucky to be alive. According to police, the 2 victims were ambushed and shot at 17 times over the weekend. This is who police say arrested. They arrested on Pine Tree Drive, 27-year-old Mordecai Braffman is now facing 2 counts of attempted second-degree murder. Records reveal he confronted 2 people who were stopped on Alton Road just north of 48th Street and shot them 17 times. Police say it was unprovoked and these people don't even know each other. Braffman then got back into his car and drove a couple blocks away, and that's when he was arrested. Police go on to say while they were questioning him in the interview room, the defendant allegedly told police he saw 2 Palestinians, shot them, and killed them both. However, as I mentioned, these people did made it out alive. It's unclear if, when it goes to the court system, if this will eventually become a hate crime case. We do know the alleged shooter will be going through bond court in just a couple of hours. We'll for sure keep you posted as soon as that happens. But for now, we're live in Miami Beach. Christian Coron, NBC6 News.
So let's get.
They're asking for your help. They're trying to find these individuals. So take a look at your screen.
Salakia. Okay, let's bring out Matthew 12 and 26. And if Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand? Amalek thought that they were Palestinians, but they were other Amalekites. That's Jewish on Jewish crime. He thought, oh, I can get, I'm gonna get me these Palestinians from my people and these Gazans and these, all on the sea coast. I'm gonna take them out. He was taking out his own folks. All right, so that is the lesson. Hopefully it was edifying. As you can see, a lot's going on. If you're in the church, if you made it this far, if you are in the Catholic Church, the Christian Church, the Baptist, the Pentecostal, any one of these non-denominational or denominational churches, and they're not following the law, statutes, commandments, you got to go to church on Sunday, which was brought to fruition by Constantine Slakia, and to merge Christianity and beliefs with the Bible and paganism together. If you still are in these churches, it's time to go. Okay, the Most High doesn't dwell in temple made by hands. Notice how things are happening. Places are getting burned down. You got people that are driving into churches. Slakia. People are running into churches with their cars. So you get a picture on that.
Wanted for crashing a stolen car into this historic church. This was the scene at St. John AMUP Church in Newark, Delaware last month.
So the Most High got in with in these churches. All right. So do yourself a favor. You got a Bible. Get yourself a King James Bible. Read and apply. Read and apply. All these things are happening at a rapid rate. If you are part of God's chosen people, you really have to do better. Okay. You didn't know. You know what I'm saying? Most High will wink at your ignorance. Here you are still alive. So it's time to change things around. All right. We're going to close out in prayer. We're going to start with Paleo Hebrew, the Lord's Prayer in Paleo Hebrew, and then we're going to read straight from the scriptures. All right. So if you got a phone, you got a compass, find east, and we pray to the east. Okay. Towards Jerusalem and the temple. Shema Mashiach Yahushai. In the name of Jesus. All right. Which his name is Yahushai. All right. This is the Lord's Prayer in Paleo Hebrew. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Qudash, Yah, Shemka, Yahweh, Malachbaka, Daba'a, Ratazayaka, Ayah, Aisha, Barataza, Kawa, Ayah, Bashamayim, Nadananawa, Lacham, Kau, Yawam, Wasalafnawa, Kabawafnawa, Kasalafnawa, Kabawafnawa, Wala'a, Dame Nawa, Banasai 1, Abal, Hawashai Nawa, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwa, Wa Allah, Watapala Raf, Lai Willemnum, Aman. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 6, and verse 9. After this manner, therefore, pray ye, Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. All right, get out of those dangerous churches and get into the good book. All right, get out of the pork chop pastors, grasp, and get into the love of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Kwom Yashala, Rise Israel. We got next. Shalom.